Hey guys, this is the first tutorial of the basics. By the way, the website is up. It's very easy to move around it. Tutorials, and you have the sections over here. For now, we're gonna only have the basics, and then I'm gonna start adding more and more. So just hang in there because I'm working alone and this takes some time. Okay, so I'm gonna show you. I'm not going to show you all the tools of 3D Max, obviously. I'm going to show you the tools that we're going to use on my tutorials and basically that you're going to use on Imvu developing as well. I'm using 3D Max 9. It's an old version, but all the version works fine. So, let's start then. What we have here is we're going to start so I can, follow my way slowly. We're going to start by objects, standard objects. It's where you start developing. For example, you have a box here in standard primitives. You can make a box. You have sphere. All the basic objects you need to make your work done. Alright, I'm gonna show you all this in a second. We have extended primitives as well. Normally I use the chamfer box, so keep that in mind. This is a chamfer box. You have more, you have oil tank, for example. There you go. Just know them that they are here, and you have to know where to find them. So just press over here on the geometry, and it's the first one. That's all you need for now. Okay. So you have over here. You have those tools over here. Okay, so what this tool does, there's three ones. Let's say there's three ones. You can play with your objects in your viewports. So the viewports is where you work. So you have the perspective, is basically where you have all your work, and you can move around and see your work. But when playing with this tool over here, it's called the move tool. I don't recommend doing it on the perspective way. That's why you have more tree views, and you can even have more if you want, right? Okay, so what those V does, for example, in a move tool, this one, you just press object and we can drag them. If you're not seeing these lines over here, just press X, because X takes them out. Sometimes by accident people take them and don't know how to put them back, so remember X, put them back. For example, let's say in the front view, normally I work with those ones, top, left and front. This is like, those views are like a guide to help you put things on the right place. For example, as you notice, when I created, I only created on the top because it's more correct to create things on top. It's more precise to create things on top. It helps you more when you're working. For example, move tool, like I was saying, as you can see on the front view, I only have I and X. So I can only move up and down or left and right. That's what the front view does. On the top view, I can drag them sorry, left and right, up and down as well, but it's on a different angle as before. As you can see on the perspective, the way it's moving. This is basically the top way. Even if you press the middle, moves both. It always doesn't move away from the position it is. It doesn't go up and down. Like if we press on the perspective, it goes everywhere. So it's very messy to align something here. So remember, when you're working with viewports, when you want to put something precise, use your viewports, all of them. Alright. We have the select and rotate tool. Basically what it does is rotates your tool around your object, and it works the same way as in the other views. It only rotates different in other views, more correctly way of rotating your work. We have the scale tool. So what basically the scale does in perspective, for example, you want to make this object bigger, you just remember to always put in the center, selecting the 3 points, so it's all the entire object you're zooming in this case. Let's say zooming, but this scaling is making bigger. You can just select one of those faces, and for example only the X, I'm just squishing it. You can just use one by one to make the effect you want. Alright, those are the ways rotate, move, and scale your objects. Now, this one is your normal mouse, you know, when you want to click and do stuff around. This is the select object, this second one right here. So what the select object is it shows you the list of the entire meshes, objects you have in your workbench, and you can select one by one. Let's say I want to select the oil tank. You can select just the oil tank. Now, ways to move around your viewport to help you using those tools and having idea of what you want. So down here we have those tools over here. We only need to know 4 of them or 5 of them. You have the orbit, this one over here. It rotates around your work. There we go. You can simply do this by pressing Alt and the middle mouse button, and there you go. You have the effect you want. You have the pawn. Basically, it grabs and drags around. Basically, it's moving. You can simply do this by pressing your middle mouse button, just the middle mouse button. There we go. You have, you have the zoom. You can simply do this by by turning your wheel up and down on a mouse button. You have zoom all. I don't use this often. You just click and drag, and there you go. You have you can zoom all the views you have. Now we have zoom extends and zoom extend all. So what does zoom extend does? You select a view and he zoom extends that view. He puts all the objects you have on that viewport zoomed and showing you all of them. For example, I just have this one. If I press zoom extend, you put me all of them, showing to me and zoomed as much as possible. So what zoom extend does is does all of them. All of them, zoom extend all does that in all the viewports. As you can see now, we have all your objects zoomed and showing all of them in our viewport. So now that we have that taken down, let's see more options we have in the viewport. We have, for example, when I'm selecting an object, you see those lines over here. This is like me selecting what object do I have select. To take this out, press J, I think it's J, the name, from James, and it goes out. There you go. As you can see, the objects like this way, it's kind of weird to work with objects that you don't see the segments like they were seeing here. So there's 2 ways to show them. You can come here, for example, and put edge faces. Or you press right mouse click on the name view and you put edge faces. There you go. Or you can simply press F4. F4 does this. There you go. And you can see the segments now. I like to work watching the segments. I think everyone likes to work this way. We have another one, the wireframe. Wireframe basically makes like they have in the other views. It takes the texture of it, just show you the segments of it. You can do this by simply pressing F3. Here we go. Here you can show your views as well. You have user, you have front, you know, all the same ones you have there and there. You can just choose them and put them in different places. Imagine if you want bottom here and perspective here, you can just change them. As you notice, there's like those squares over here that sometimes can be annoying, and sometimes some people, at least me, I don't like to work with them, only if I really need it. But to take this out, just press G from LEG, or you can just come here and show grid, take them out. For example, you have show statics. It shows you how many polygons you have in the how many polygons you have in your work, how many vertex, blah blah blah. It gives you details. I don't think you will need that. You have show save frame. Show save frame, it's when you're putting the Imvu reference in work, when they give you the share and the window that is on the other video that I'm show you, that I did explaining. Normally they come with this. I'm just going to teach you this so you know how to take this out. Just, you know, come here and bang, there you go, it's out. Alright, so putting that aside, creating objects and blah blah blah, let's delete this ones and delete this one as well. Now, for example, let's make a box again. And I need a big box. Now, there you go. When you create an object, there's different kind of options objects give you, and you can play with them. For example, the box give you the length, the width in, and the height. You know, you can tweak them here until you have, or you can even put the values you want. Let's say I want everything 555. There you go. I have a perfect square now. Now you have segments. Segments is what make your mesh more detailed. Basically, it's cuts. Basically, it's a cuts like draws on the box, where you can play with them. You can pull them out. I'm going to show you after. In Edit Poly, you can play with the segments. I'm going to put 333 now, just to show you guys how Edit Poly works. But I just want to show you more options. For example, let's say the sphere. Let's make a sphere here. There you go. As you can play with the segments in the sphere. As you can see, it's not much of a sphere right now. It's actually, there you go. You can make like a diamond shape. You know, by playing just with the segments, you can even make shapes with the sphere. There you go. You can choose the size over here. You have the. You can even cut in half. You can squash it, chop or squash it. Depends on what defect you're looking for. You can slice it. What slice does is just cut on the amount you want by playing with those tools. You can cut the sphere. This is just showing you that different objects have different ways of tweaking them. Every option has a different way of tweaking, and you have to. I'm not going to show you all of them, but just know that don't be afraid to play with those values until you have the result you're looking for. Alright, so let's select our object over here, the box. Let's give him a funny color. Let's give him this color. And let's go here on the modify tab. This is where you have, of course, the modify of the box, and this is where you apply the modifier. For now, we just need to know one. You press E from Edward, and you press Edit Poly. There you go. As you can see, Edit Poly show up a lot of options, a lot of new options. Some are hiding because you don't need those. You know, some are hiding here. For now, especially there you go. You can open them and close them by pressing the pluses over there. Alright, so what we have here is, in here when you press this plus over here, you have basically the selection tools over here. Now when you press one of those, you're not going to notice this is going to be yellow. There you go, it's yellow. You can even close this one. It's yellow. When this is yellow means you are in the Edit Poly mode. You are using the modifier, which means I cannot move or select the objects. I just select the options of selection that I choose. To simply take this out and go back to the normal mode, just press the yellow again, and now we're back by selecting objects and having our creation again. I'm just gonna put this here. There you go. So remember, when you are in Edit Poly, this is yellow. Don't try to take up, because it's not going to work and you can mess with your mesh. So be careful. Okay, in Edit Poly we have the first one, the big one. I'm going to start from the front to back. Poly, we have the element that is basically you select the entire element, the entire object. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom on my viewport. I only want to see perspective. I don't want to see those ones. So there's two ways of doing it. So you press this button over here. There you go. Or you press Alt W. There you go. Okay, this is rotating Alt, middle mouse button. I already showed you before. Okay, this is element. I can just select the element. Now, faces. This is faces of polygons. Remember the cuts, the segments we did? We can actually do those segments in this poly. I'm going to show you, but the segments we did now gives you more ways to work with our mesh. As you can see now, because I put 333, I have all of those squares all over the place. I can work with them. So what options do we have in polygon mode? So we have extrude, bevel, inset, bridge. You're going to only need those two for. You only need those to know those for now. I don't think for Imvu you need to, maybe some occasions going to use different ones, but it's very rare. So for now, just let's show you what this does. So what extrude does is, like the name says, you extrude the face you're selecting. So there you go, it extrudes the face out. Now this tool, I'm going to show you what to do after. We have inset. So what inset does, basically it does a cut, let's say this face, and it's going to do another face. Let's say I want to make this kind of effect. You can even tweak with this by going on the scale tool that I showed you before, and by pressing the points over here, you can put them in different kind of shape. There you go. Example. And now, what most often you do is you play with inset and extrude or bevel. Now, bevel is like an extrude, I'm going to show. So what bevel does is basically extrudes, like the extruder, but we have an outline amount where we can make some cool effects with them. For example, let's say this, and now I want out, and I want to go in again. You know, this outline amount gives you a different kind of options to work with. As you can see, we just make this weird shape over here. There you go. Bridge I'll show you in a second. Just gonna go an element, press the entire element, move tool, shift and drag, and I make another one. No, let's make it a little bit more far. Okay, there you go. Okay, now we have a copy of it. So to show you what bridge does, for example, bridge, I press this face over here and this bridge, this face over here. You keep pressing Ctrl to select multiple faces. You keep pressing Ctrl. It's the same way as everything. There you go. And now we use bridge. There you go. It connects those two faces, but differently, because we have some options we can actually do by applying some segments. So we can actually move and bend. There you go. We can make some cool shapes with them. Just tweak, tweak, tweak is what we're always doing on this kind of things until you have the right result you're looking for. You can put a lot of segments and you can twist your work around. There we go. As you can see, I make like some nice bridge over there connecting the two of them. This is what bridge does. Alright. Okay, I'll show you what inset does. Let's go to edges now. So edges, like the name says, you select edges of your object, the segments of them. For example, he has the same options, besides he has a new one called chamfer. What chamfer does, basically, to put it very simple, cuts the edge in half and you can start making a round shape with him. For example, apply, I cut once, I cut two, I cut three, and there you go, now it's round, as you can see. This is what chamfer does. I'm going to be using it in a lot of situations. We have extrude as well. You can extrude stuff as well. There you go. Open the base. There you go. There you go. We just extrude just an edge. What we need to know more here. For example, let's say I delete this one. There's two ways we could actually connect this whole. Obviously, we could just come in a border, because we haven't talked about the border. Borders is select the border of the mesh, because this is the border of the mesh right now, because I delete the center of it. And we can just cap it, and we can extrude it as well. I don't actually use this often, but there you go. It gives you some nice effects as well. You can chamfer as well, the border of, there you go. Give you some cool effects. And then we have, like I was explaining, if we delete not this, this, and this, and this, let's say we go in here and we want to close this one, we can use the bridge of edge, for example. You grab this line to this line, bang. Well, we put a lot of segments, but that's because of the segments that probably we have here. We have 19 segments, you know. That's why he's full of segments there, because we were playing with the bridge before, remember? So that's why it stayed like that. Okay, but we take the segments out and we can connect this thing like this. There you go. You do some mistake and you cannot fix it, and you want to, you just use this technique. It's very helpful. What we have more in edges, we have the connect. So basically what the connect does is, let's say I want to connect those two edges over here. Alright, you come here, you press settings of the connect, and let's say I want to have 3 segments here, and I want them a little bit more far, and I want to slide them up. There you go, it connects and creates you more segments for you to work with. This is like creating more segments in the places you want by connecting them. I think that's it for now on edges. I think that's all things you need to know. We have vertex now. So vertex is a more detailed work. You can press all the vertex points in your work. Like in any other option, like the polygons, the edges, you can move them. You can. Maybe this is not the best example here, but you can turn them around. For example, the edge. You can. Well, let's take this one. You can spin the edges. I don't often use them. Depends on what you're looking for. Alright, so in vertex mode you have the same options basically as in the other ones. You have chamfer as well. Oh, you have the wrong one. You can chamfer a vertex. There you go. Apply 3 times. There you go. And you can make different kind of shapes. I just made it like this round effect there. You have target weld. Target weld, what does is you want to connect this vertex with this vertex. You grab, you click, drag, and let it go, and it connects the vertex. As you can see, it's connecting those vertex. There you go. There you go. So it connects the vertex. We have extruding, not going to use often, so I'm not going to even show, but we have weld. For example, to weld the vertex, I'm going to show you now what is called the snap tools. So the snap tools is like ways of helping you doing very precise things super easy. For example, we have the first one, this one with a tree. That's all we need. We're going to press right mouse click on it, and we're going to take all the options you have on and just put vertex, because that's the only one we're going to be working with. And then you press left click on it, you turn it on, you go on the move tool, and as you can see now, I have those crosses on my vertex. What those crosses does is means there's a vertex there, and you're going to select this vertex. For example, I press this vertex, now I'm just grabbing him, and now if I just move close to another one, is going to snap immediately on top of it. It's like he put the vertex on top of each other, and now I can select both of them and I can weld them. There we go. This is what the snap toggle does by vertex. You can do it by edges as well. You come here again, you take the vertex off, you put edge barra segments, and you can grab. So as you can see now, it's selecting edges. You can go on the move tool, grab the edge, and snap on edge to edge. It's kind of messy, so that's why we only use vertex on. We're not going to be using those one, just the vertex one. Keep it on. Now remember, always turn it off when you're after you're done with it, or you're going to be all messed up. All right. So what we have more, for example, I'll always work with ignore back facing on. Because what the ignore back facing does is, let's say there's a hole in our mesh, and as you can see now, I can select those faces back there, and that's not nice. Imagine if I have something here and I want to select this one, and sometimes when you want to select this one, it's selecting the back one. So if you put ignore back facing on, you'll never select the faces in the back, just the faces that are in front for you. Alright, nothing to know. Well, I don't think I'm missing. I don't want to miss anything because I haven't thought about it. I'm just going along with it, showing everything I'm gonna be using slowly. So I'll always have the ignore back facing on. Alright. So remember, to get out of this, just press it and we're out. There you go. Now we're on our viewport menu. Okay, so now another toggle, because now we're talking about snaps. We have the angle snap. I like to put on 10 degrees, depends, but normally I work with 10 degrees. I put the rotate tool, I turn on the snap, and right mouse click is the same way as the other one, angle, and just type 10, for example, and you can rotate 10 degrees by 10 degrees your work. There you go. Let's turn it off. This is what the angle snap. We're not going to be using those ones. We're just going to be using those two for now. I don't think we're going to be needing the other ones. So, well, this is a nice example. For example, here, let me show you the difference of extruding here. As you can see now, I select all those faces and I'm extruding them as a group. They go together to the same direction. When I put local norm, they keep their orientation, but they still stick together. Just they never change route. If one is pointing north, she's going to keep pointing north. If the other one is keep pointing south, she's going to keep going south. I think that's south it says. And now we have a polygon. By polygon, it's individual extrude. It just extrudes by the faces. As here you can see better the example, as you can give nice effects this way by playing with this. There you go. Because I'm pretty sure I forgot to show you what. Yeah, and you can move the faces, you can rotate the faces. Yeah. It's all the same thing over and over again. I think that's it for Edit Poly for now. Yeah. As you can see, our moving tool is not in the center of the object. To fix this, we go in hierarchy and we go on effect pivot only, and we put center to object, align to object, align to work. Okay, press it 3 once. There you go. Now it's in the center of our object. Something to keep in mind when you're having, for example, imagine if something like this happens, you know, and you're like, what? There you go. This is kind of weird when this happens, so at least now you know how to fix it. There you go. So this was standard. I show you what Edit Poly does, every tool of it. Let's see now shapes. So shapes, what shapes is basically it draws. You draw the shape you want. As you can see, you put dots and you connect them. There we go. When you're creating a line, you have those options here. You have smooth, corner. Basically what corner does, as you can see, the corners are like, you know, there's not round effect on them. If you put smooth, for example, when you click and move, now it's round, as you can see. It gives you the more round effect. There you go. You can put corner easier, I think, if I'm not wrong. You click and drag. As you can see, now it's corner again, but if you press and keep pressing and drag, it does a corner over there. This is another option when you're creating a line. Lines work the same way as Edit Poly, basically, something similar. You have a modifier as well of them that you have. You can select vertex. As you can see, you can select the vertex. You even have, when you put the curve, you can play with the curve. You have, for example, fillet. What fillet does is make the corner rounds. It's pretty awesome to play with also. Chamfer. Not much you need to know about this one. You just need to know that it's there, and if I use them, make sure you know what how to create a line. That's the main point over here. To delete an object, it's simple. Just press and delete. I don't need to say that, but just in case. There you go. In line we have different kind of tools, because when you create a line, it's just basically a line. You don't have mesh on it. You don't have thickness on the mesh, right? So let's go back here. Let's make, for example, a test. Let's say deadly sin. This is where you create a task. On the splines you have here, get this in. You can type here everything you want. You can change the size of the task, you know. Just by reading what is here, you actually learn how to work with those things. That's why you don't need to work. You don't need to think too much. Just read and understand a little bit. You can change the font of your work. Now, interpolation is around a more beauty your letters are gonna be. If you take all of them, as you can see, it gets a little bit rusty. Don't get too shine, too smooth. So, but remember the last segments, this is gonna be putting segments when we actually pump them out. Remember that the last segments are better for Imvu. Now we have rendering. If you enable rendering in viewport, now we have some kind of thickness with the mesh, but this is different type. It's just the lines, you know, just making the lines, in this case radial lines, like cylinder lines, let's say like that, and you have this effect on your letters. You can do this in every type of lines. Doesn't need to be the task, this is in everyone. You can put rectangular as well. As you can see, it has a different type of effect. You can tweak with this. Don't put too much here, don't overlap your work. If you like, when you're playing with if this happens, like you're seeing right over here, this is bad for the mesh. The mesh is broken this way because they're like connecting with each other inside. Alright, so there you go. Remember what I told you about this not interacting with each other? It's very dangerous and can break your mesh and nothing works after. Now let's take this out and I'm going to show you some modifiers. So we finished this tutorial by showing some modifiers that we often use. So we have Extrude. What Extrude does, it gives thickness to your mesh. There you go. This is what Extrude does. Gives thickness and caps, because the holes there, basically it's an extrude like an edit poly, like I showed you before. But this is different. For example, when you put the letters, now we have a 3D letter. You know, extrude is being using when you have a line and you extrude the line and you get the 3D effect of that line, for example. What we have more that we can show here, we have okay, let's show the FFT. FFTs are useful. Let's first just put this on 90 degrees up, so have a better look. So what FFT does, it's basically the same as this poly in this part where you have the yellow thingy. It means you are in the modifier controls. You press control points, and by selecting those points over here, you can play with your mesh. This is very useful in a lot of situations. You can tweak your mesh in very different ways. But remember, like here is like breaking and things like that. You have to be careful with that. It means segments, you don't have enough segments, or sometimes you're trying to make a very aggressive move for the mesh and it's not going to work. So FFT is great to help in a lot of situations, but keep in mind that you need to be careful when you do it. You need to know if you have the right segments to do it. Alright, putting that aside, FFT is a great modifier, helps you a lot, especially with, let's say, curtains, I don't know, making the right shape or the right thing. Okay. Now let's make a box with 555 segments. It's fine. And I'm going to show you more modifiers. You don't have to memorize all of them. Well, you have, but just not all of them. Just these ones I'm showing you at least. You need to know what they are when you're watching the other videos. I'm always gonna say I'm using this modifier, but you need to know that modifier well. So that's why I'm doing this video, so you practice alone. So let's say the taper modifier. Now remember, there's always values when you're playing with your modifier. There you go. You can play with the modifier, make different shape, playing with the angles, even give you different kind of shapes. Keep in mind that the more you tweak until you have the right look, try them until you remember, oh, I know that modifier does this effect, so I want to go that modifier, I want to try that modifier again. There you go. This is what the taper modifier does. You have others with pretty cool effects. For example, you have, where is it? Say the melt one. You have the melt modifier. It's like basically melt, you know. You have the amount of melting you can play with. You have even the materials, for example, glass, you have jelly, you have plastic, you know. Play with them and have fun trying them and memorizing them because they're going to be very helpful. You have a relax modifier as well. Relax modifier, like the name says, it relaxes the mesh, you know. Very often use this on pillows and to make this round type effect on something. Relax is a good one. We have the squeeze. As the name says, it squeezes the mesh. There you go. For example, this can be some kind of vase thingy. I don't know. Just play with them until you have, because this helps you, you know, instead of going edit poly, and these modifiers help you do your work faster and more accuracy. Example, this is a squeeze. Must be so many. I don't need to know all of them, but someone tried to show you all the ones, the twists. I think I showed you the twist already, didn't I? If not, I'll show it again. There's a twist modifier. There you go, you can twist this around. Remember, the more segments, the more smooth it gets. You can play different angles as well. Go. I don't know what can I show more. I have the wave. Like the name says, makes waves. Well, they're not very perfect right now because of the segments, but you know, just tweak with them till you have the result you're looking for. I don't know. I think that's basically it. I don't think I use anything more besides the other one I'm going to show with the plane, but yeah. Okay, just with this, let's make a plane. Now I'm just going to show you the shell modifier. What the shell does is basically, like the name says, a plane is just a plane. Now imagine this can be like a picture on something, but you want to add some thickness to it. The shell gives thickness to your mesh. There you go. Now you have the look you're looking for. That's it. This is the last modifier I have to show you guys. Well, if I forgot some modifier, if I forgot something, I will show probably after, and I always, even in the next tutorials, I'm gonna be always telling you details about everything. What I'm doing, why am I doing it, I'm gonna show you slowly. This is just like an overall view of everything, so you start practicing a little bit those tools, so you can come here and do this without pressing here, you know, so you get a little bit used to the 3D Max itself. I'm gonna show more tools. I'm going to talk about everything that is to be talked about the Imvu. I'm going to show you everything that is to be done: clothes, body shapes, accessories, shoes. I'm going to give you the basics for everything and explain to you basic and advanced techniques. So I hope you like this project. This project is, I decided to make this project because, I don't know, just the Imvu is a great community. Even if there's a lot of drama now and then, there's good people in here and people that sometimes need that boost, so I decided to make this cool. So if you have any questions, any doubts, contact me, and that's it. Have fun, and remember, practice this alone. Do everything I did here by yourself. Get comfortable with the tools, and I'll be releasing tutorials slowly, but I will be releasing them. And I see you next time.